watch fans. We got another exciting episode for you. Again, as always. Today we are looking at AP. That's right. We are examining the world of Audemars. Oh, there we go. Audemars Piguet. Hang on a second. Let me get this straight. Okay, there we go. All right. Well, I think we're all set here now. We got special guest Mr. Miyagi. This guy does he's a very like analytical guy. He does very well. You'll see actually good channel. I highly recommend Mr. Miyagi here. Check it out. But he's going to be talking about AP and listen. We'll add some comments. I got this on fast forward so we can get to all the good details. But um, I think what he does is he kind of, he's very polite. He doesn't exactly say that AP is a scam, but it is a scam. Okay, the whole thing with the code of 1159s, you got to buy a bunch of shitters to get one good watch, which is dropping in value. And by the way, again, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the Royal Oak. The problem with the Royal Oak is I think we're getting to the point where, oh, by the way, we have the chat now. Okay, we're doing a new thing. The chat now is members only. I'm going to put up this thing. There we go. There we go. Okay, there we go. Right there. There we go. That's right. If you want to chat, you got to pay. You got to pay to chat. That's right. No more free stuff for the unwashed masses. We don't want the unwashed masses. We don't want the riffraff. We want to keep this a riffraff-free, peasant-free experience. Okay? So you got to be a member just like Baron Noah over here. That's right. Baron Noah is an aristocrat. Hang on, let me just change it. As a member. Okay, to chat. Let me see. There's still crat. There we go. Okay. All right. Okay. There we go. I think that does the job, right? I think that does the job. Okay. So let's see what Mr. Miyagi has to say about AP, and we'll get into it.
Even within the same product families, we're seeing dramatic price variations that few could predict. Welcome back. My channel provides independent market analysis. I don't do paid posts or sponsorships. I buy the data from watch charts to bring you the latest numbers. Consider this, Rolex and Patek are both showing roughly 13% gains across much larger collections, 147 and 101 models respectively. AP is achieving their single-digit growth with only 78 models in production.
Believe me, when it comes to investing, you'll love Carl's way. Take a left here, please.
But there's a...
So, looking at these numbers, we're seeing a clear separation in the luxury watch market, a tale of three brands swimming upstream while everyone else faces...
Wow, look at these numbers. These are huge numbers. Wow. I mean, this is rough. But still, AP is struggling versus Patek and Rolex. But this is shocking. This is shocking that their numbers are all for Vacheron, down 35%.
Significant headwinds. But for AP, maintaining this position may require something more than riding the Royal Oak wave. Remember when conventional wisdom said steel Royal Oaks were the only smart play? The market is painting indeed a different picture in 2025. While steel models are still commanding impressive premiums above retail, it's the pink gold variants that are showing truly remarkable strength, particularly in the chronograph models. What we're seeing in the data is fascinating.
Yeah, I don't understand this chronograph. I think, listen, the chronograph thing I think is purely for peasants. I mean, it's peasant material. But I've been telling you guys, the whole thing with the steel watches, the whole steel thing is over. Okay, it's over. The problem, I think the real problem with AP is this: if you're going to get a Royal Oak, you gotta get it in gold. It's gotta be gold. If you're gonna go Royal Oak, it's gotta be gold. Because there's too many tomato cans and crayon eaters that bought the basic bitch steel watch. It's kind of like if you get if you buy a Ferrari, a Lambo, something like that, you don't want to get just the basic stock car, right? You got to get, like a special spec. You got to get, what I'm talking, all that stuff. You got to get something that looks different. You don't want like the basic stock wheels and you want extra stuff, right, to make it different because, you don't want to be like, some, mooch bum. But that's what's going on with AP. I think people are moving into the gold models, which I think you're safer to buy gold than steel with Royal Oak. And again, my whole thesis is if you're going to go buy Royal Oak, it really has to be like pre-2010. Pre-2010 neo vintage, that is going to be safe. The new model, especially the current models, I mean, they're nice watches, don't get me wrong. They're just it's going to be dead money. You're going to lose money basically with AP. And I think the trend is moving away. I really believe that. I think people want to go back to, they're just tired of the look. I'm talking about Nautilus as well. Nautilus, Royal Oak, same thing. I'm putting them in the same kind of category of that whole 70s vibe. The problem with the watch people is, as the more people have gotten into this and it becomes more mature, people's tastes become more mature. And what that means also is what I call the fashion cycle. It gets shorter and shorter. In other words, it used to be like a trend would last 10 years, like Panerai. Everybody was into the Panerai for like more than 10 years. It was like a decade, right? It's like, look, it's like men's fashion. The trends last like 10 years or more, right? Women's fashion, it lasts one season, right? One season. I mean, look, skirt lengths, pants, whatever, it changes. They want something new. They want novelty. And that's what's happening with the watch collectors now. They want something new. Like whatever is hot is only hot for like a year or two, right? Like, for example, everybody's getting into the whole thing with the geezer watches, the integrated bracelets, 70 stuff. That started about 18 months ago. And I think we're at the peak of the trend. I think we're very near the peak. The AP Royal Oak Cobra, the price quadrupled. You want to dump that watch. The Cobra, you got to dump that watch. I think the integrated bracelet thing is right at the peak right here. And again, people are so the cycle for what's his name? The Gerald Genta hype. The Gerald Genta hype is over. I think people are moving on, but they are going to be interested in the actual Gerald Genta watches. I think that still has some legs, but Nautilus, Royal Oak, I think those have really run their course. Again, they go in trends. It was hot. It wasn't hot, but it was, it was kind of cool in the 70s, late 70s into the 80s. It was ice cold in the 90s. Ice, dead. You couldn't give away a Nautilus or Royal Oak in the 90s up until 2012, okay? Only in around 2012 did Nautilus and Royal Oak start getting hyped up. And frankly, that was because I believe it was really, well, a couple things, but I think the Hodinkee thing and AP was advertising in Hodinkee. I think that really did it. A couple of factors, but that the real like Gerald Genta thing only with 2012. I mean, yeah, the offshore thing was going on early, but the offshore was always like a niche. It was always like a niche weird thing.
The baseline steel Royal Oak 41mm brings a healthy 5-figure premium, but its pink gold siblings push even higher. Perhaps more intriguing is how this pattern intensifies with chronographs. The steel chronograph maintains a strong position, yet the pink gold chronograph takes the premium crown among these four references. This tells us something crucial about today's AP market. Material choice is no longer simply about preference. The old rules about steel being king might need a serious update. Now,
See,
here's where the Royal Oak story takes an unexpected turn.
I've been telling you this. I've been telling you this guys for a while. Gold. Okay, this thing with steel is not. I'm telling you, it's gold. You want gold.
The offshore collection, once the bold favorite of the AP lineup, is telling us something remarkable about changing buyer preferences. Look at the market data. We're seeing a clear inverse relationship between case size and market performance. The larger 43mm models are experiencing significant market corrections, with some variants trading well below retail. What's particularly striking is how this affects precious metal versions. The premium typically associated with gold and platinum seems to evaporate in those larger case sizes.
Okay.
Now, the real surprise comes from the 42mm titanium models, which are showing notably better value retention than their large.
What is he saying? He's saying that people want to go smaller. That's right. Guess which Guess again. I've been telling you guys for over, I don't know, since this channel started, that the trend was going back to smaller watches, and that's what's happening with AP. Guess which watch? Guess which size gets the biggest premium? You'll find out. Watch.
Larger siblings. This suggests a subtle but important shift in the market. Buyers are increasingly favoring wearability over risk presence. Perhaps most telling is how the traditional size premium has completely reversed in the secondary market. Watches that command higher retail prices due to their larger cases are facing steeper discounts when they change hands. These aren't watches flying under the radar. They're rewriting the playbook on what drives value. Take the double balance wheel, 41mm. While everyone's been chasing the standard Royal Oaks, this horological masterpiece has quietly become one of the hottest tickets in the game, commanding nearly $50,000 over retail. But the real insider secret?
By the way, I think that's. I mean, it's kind of a cool watch, but okay, whatever, big deal. I mean, again, it's not the horological masterpiece. It's the design. I think people want to go. They want something new. They're bored. I mean, this thing has been so hot. I mean, AP was like white hot. It's cooling off. It was just too. It just got too hot. You know, just too many tomato cans.
The extra thin 39mm at almost $32K over retail is proving that sophisticated collectors are increasingly valuing classical proportions.
Again, the problem is this, right? The problem is, when you have schmucks who start wearing this, like, you have the Ocuck and losers like that. You got these Bukiaks like JJ Bukiak and the Ocuck Bukiak. When these types of Bukiaks start wearing Royal Oak, I mean, people with with no taste, like slobs like those guys, the unwashed masses, it ruins the brand. It really, really does. And, people want something different, right? Especially, they definitely don't want steel. Again, because the Bukiakistan, they only go for the steel watch because, they're pikers.
And technical refinement over flash. The 37mm reveal another fascinating trend. They're showing rock-solid premiums regardless of variant.
Ooh.
We're seeing a sustainable shift toward more versatile sizes, not only a temporary market whim. And here's what many are missing: the 50th anniversary.
Oh, look at that! Jeez, I thought that was a girl size. Oh, a 30. I thought it was a girl size. No, people want more. That's the right size. 37, 36. That's really the right size, especially for the Royal Oak. 37 is like it wears like a 40. So you don't want to.
A ceramic chronograph is becoming the new blueprint for what modern AP collectors value. The combination of innovative materials and heritage design is creating serious market momentum. These models are emerging as the new vanguard of AP collecting. The question isn't whether to look at these pieces.
This may look like your favorite childhood crispy treat,
and
with delicious flavors.
But which one will emerge as the next market leader? Now, we need to address the elephant in the room, the Code 1159 collection.
Oh.
This is where the market is sending an unmistakable, clear message about AP's attempt to diversify.
I wonder what the market is telling us about the 1159.
Beyond the Royal Oak. The numbers tell a sobering story. Every single Code 1159 model trades below retail. But this
nasty and vicious. Look at that. I mean, wow. Yeah, massive. I mean, big discounts. Here's the thing you need to realize. This thing where they say, oh, you got. Look, the grift with AP is, look, the Code 1159, it's really a piece of garbage. It really is pure trash. And I think that they do have a possibility it might evolve into something interesting. So I do appreciate, that it could, the case is kind of interesting. I kind of like the theory. It's just the execution is a hot mess. Like the dial, I don't know. It's like a modern case, but you have the guilloche dial. I don't know what are they doing. It's a mixed design metaphors. So the grift is, how do they increase profits? Well, they make you buy. They make you go on the journey. It's all about the journey, right? They say, well, you got to go on the journey with us, right? Like Patek wants you to buy. I mean, this is crazy. I shared this in a video. If you want to get like a Patek Nautilus, like the good one, like I guess they're calling it an application piece now, the Perpetual 5740. If you want to get that, they want you to buy 5. They want you to buy 5 shitters. They want you to buy 5 Patek shitters, and from the same boutique, and they want you to own them at the time you get offered the good one, the one that you really want. What that means is you're going to lose like $100,000 because each of those watches is going to drop, an average of 20 grand. So it's going to cost you 100 G's to get the one you want in 2 years, right? Which makes no sense because that watch is almost now already almost at these people are nuts. And AP, I think this is really going to start to backfire. We're at the backfiring stage now. It's just a matter of time before the wheels come off. You know, they're opening that new boutique in New York. It's going to be 12,000 square feet. That's right. They're building a 12,000 square foot store on 5th and was it 62nd? And I don't know. It's kind of ridiculous. 12,000 square feet. They don't have that many watches. Allegedly, they don't have any watches available, right? You got to go on the journey. So what is it going to be? Is it going to be like a museum to build a brand? You know, I kind of understand that a little bit. I think the problem is, here's the real problem. Here's the real problem. The real problem is what the real smart brands are doing. They're doing like stores, or let's call it a boutique, but they're doing like them in not street level. They're going like, you know, office space, you know, second, third floor. So it's more exclusive. You know, when you're on a high traffic area like even 5th and 62nd, which is a little bit off the beaten path, it's still a high traffic area. You know, what is the point? What is the point of doing that when you allegedly don't have one? I think it's just going to dilute the brand, and that's going to be the, you know, again, all these guys, they all, you know, everything is going great until they expand to a giant retail space, and that's when they hit that iceberg. They hit the iceberg, and that's it. So AP is about to run into an iceberg.
It's ranging from concerning to severe. What's particularly striking is how the precious metal variants, which should represent the pinnacle of the collection, are actually suffering the steepest drops, losing up to 45% of the retail value. Even the seemingly safer steel and ceramic models are not immune, though they're holding up marginally better with losses in the 24 to 26% range. When the best performer in the collection is still showing a quarter of its value evaporating, we're looking at a fundamental market rejection. Now, this creates a fascinating paradox in AP's portfolio. While certain royal oak references command massive premiums, the code 1159, with identical movement quality and brand heritage, represents a serious value trap for unworried buyers. In a market where
value trap, that's a value trap. This guy must be like a finance guy. Value trap. Yeah, so this is that's what it is. AP is a giant value trap. It's like the Roach Motel. You get in, you can't get out. That's what's going to happen. You're going to get value trapped, and it's all over. It's like a one-way ticket to Chomo stand.
Where knowledge is power, understanding this disparity could save collectors from costly mistakes. Let's shatter a dangerous myth in today's AP market. Diamonds are not your premium protection plan. The data tells a stark warning story that every collector needs to hear.
Oh,
Think paying an extra 20 to 30% for factory diamonds guarantees a better market performance? The numbers say otherwise. While AP charges significant premiums for diamond set pieces at retail, those premiums largely vanish in the secondary market, sometimes dramatically so. Look at the 37mm steel models. That hefty diamond premium you paid at the boutique, almost meaningless in resale value. It gets worse with precious metals, where diamond set versions can actually underperform their standard siblings despite much higher initial costs. The lady chronograph tells the most cautionary tale. Diamond models struggling to maintain any meaningful premium over non-diamond variants.
Okay, that's an interesting takeaway, right? So this is actually kind of an interesting thing, right? So diamonds, like let's say diamond markers or diamond bezels, is a negative. Now the diamond bezel, I think that's on a model by model basis. I think with AP having the diamond set bezel or bezel, as we like to say, is a bad idea, because you know, the whole idea of the design is you have the brushed bezel, right? You got that brushed bezel with the polish and all. You know, it's part of the whole thing, right? It's part of the whole. You know, you don't want to mess with the design. It's like it's integral to the design, right? The Gerald Genta design. It really takes away from the integrity of the design when you put the diamonds there. Yeah, it really does. You know, actually, no, I really do believe it does. It could, in some cases, I think it could be kind of cool. For women's pieces, okay. For men's pieces, it's not good. Now, what's interesting is, now, what about on a dial? How about diamonds just on the dial? That's a little bit more discreet than having them on the bracelet or the bezel, right? Apparently not. Because I think the issue is this, right? Like, I think not, you know, I think very few men are comfortable having diamonds on a watch, right? It's a little too, you know, I think diamonds or gem set type stuff is really associated either with women's things or, it's kind of like a pimp type of look. Now, I'm okay with it. I mean, I think it could be interesting if it's the right thing, right? Like, for example, if it's like a baguette cut, the bigger ones, I think it's okay. But again, it for each watch it's different because in some watches it really takes away from the design. Like you want to have the markers in some watches that look better. For example, the Patek 5396, that watch does look better with the white gold markers versus the diamonds. It's just a cleaner look. The diamonds, I think, kind of, I don't know. You kind of like it at first, but then when you have it a while, you realize, this is garbage, and that's the problem. So diamonds is a value trap.
This isn't about the diamond's beauty or craftsmanship. It's about market reality versus marketing promise. The key lesson for collectors: never assume that diamonds will protect or enhance your investment.
Oh,
The real value drivers remain the fundamentals: reference, materials, and complications.
value.
When we look at AP's biggest market value drops, we're seeing a revealing pattern that every collector needs to understand. It's about which segments of AP's portfolio are struggling to find their market. Leading the depreciation pack is the white gold offshore diver with an astonishing 54% drop from retail.
Wow.
Right behind it, white gold
Huge.
code chrono.
Huge and bigly. Okay, so wow, the offshore diver in white, that's a huge drop.
Losing 45% of their value. Notice something? White gold models consistently show the steepest declines, challenging the traditional premium associated with this metal. The code 1159 collection appears multiple times in this ranking with both.
I think it's really because with white gold, it's almost like, again, my issue with white, I think, again, I'm a fan of gold. White gold, I think is cool for certain watches, like date in white gold, I think is good. I think Royal Oak and white gold is good, but the problem is it does look like steel. And that's also my issue with platinum, right? With platinum, it's actually worse because the platinum looks like steel, but it's heavier. It's heavier than gold, much heavier. And platinum is not even a precious metal. Platinum is really an industrial metal, right? So it doesn't have the spiritual.
Automatic and chronograph versions in precious metals, losing 35 to 45% of their value. Even more telling is how this depreciation remains consistent across different complications within the collection. What's particularly striking is seeing the GMT Tourbillon, here a complex watch with significant horological merit, still facing major value drops. This suggests that even exceptional complications are not immune against market corrections. The presence of the titanium offshore 43.
Hey, this guy's a good speaker. This guy's like very articulate. I wish I could be as articulate as this guy. Is he reading off a script?
At the better end of this chart, still showing significant losses, sets up an interesting perspective of how modern materials are performing in today's market. What this data ultimately reveals is a market that's become increasingly selective. Not only about brands or models, but about specific combinations of features and materials.
My daughter is being treated for leukemia.
Selective
It hit me
market.
hard. It did.
And positioning. Here's where we expose one of the luxury watch market's most fascinating contradictions, the AP waitlist paradox. Look at this scatter plot carefully because it shatters some common myths. The most striking revelation: the watches with the longest waitlist are often the entry-level steel models, typically priced around 25 to 40K.
Okay, this is interesting. Okay, so the wait list, right? The so-called wait list, the longest wait list is on the cheapest stuff, right? Because I think what's happened is with AP is they've attracted a lot of peasants. You got a lot of peasants who are entering the AP market and diluting the brand. So the biggest demand with AP is for the entry level steel, 30, what is it, 37, 30, whatever, 39, whatever, 41. Again, it's the Kakistan and Bukyakistan, Chomostan watches, right? The steel. If you want a real complication, you want a perpetual calendar, you probably get it right away. That's what he's telling us, Mr. Miyagi.
These pieces command market premiums up to 90% over retail, despite or perhaps because of being the most affordable AP offerings. One thing to note, for our analysis, we are assuming market demand as a proxy for waitlist demand. The logic is simple. Higher secondary premiums drive up waitlists. Actual waitlist will, of course, depend on your history and location. Now, here's where it gets interesting. As you move up the price scale toward 80,000, the waitlist intensity actually decreases. Those high-end precious metal pieces, often available with minimal weight despite their more exclusive positioning.
There you go. Minimal weight. You can get this tomorrow if you want, right? That's what's going on. So don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype from AP about, you got to go on the journey. No, the reality is the demand, all the tomato cans are at the bottom of the market, right? At the riffraff, the peasant level. When you get into complications, there's it's not crowded.
The market premium drops accordingly, sometimes even turning negative. This creates a bizarre inverse relationship. The harder a watch is to obtain at retail, the lower its actual price point tends to be. It's almost as if AP's allocation strategy is working against traditional luxury market value, where higher prices typically signal greater exclusivity. The most telling data points are those green dots, low-weight models typically trading below retail. These aren't necessarily inferior watches.
Okay, so I think I think this might be a bad signal. Also means if everybody wants their cheapest models, right? That means it's basically becoming a peasant brand, right? I think that's what it means. It's almost like, okay, from Mercedes, they have the A class, or like BMW, I think they have the 3 Series. I think they actually have something. I think they have a 2 Series. I've seen some cars that are like a 200 BMW 2 whatever, and it used to be that I don't know. I don't know what the numbers are, but I can't imagine anybody wants to buy a BMW 2 Series or a Mercedes like. They had something called the A class, which is like lower than the C class. That was like the real, like the seats were like vinyl or something. And, normally you'd think the demand would be for the S class, right? The S class, the top thing. No, apparently not. It basically tells us that the AP is becoming a peasant brand, which to me is very concerning. I really, look, I'm a fan. I wish they would, just do something that's different. It's just, they've gotten too many, chomo stannies in there.
In the crossfire between artificial scarcity and real market demand. This is about the disconnect between AP's distribution strategy and the genuine market dynamics. Now, let's look at specific examples for the waitlist. Remember, we're using market demand as a proxy for waitlist demand. We're going to start with the crown jewel, the jumbo extra thin. That's 88% market premium. Isn't a mere number. It's a clear signal that this is essentially a VIP only piece. Despite being one of the lower price models at $36,000 retail, it's arguably the hardest AP to obtain through official channels. The 41
Yeah. Am I playing this too fast? I'm going to go slow. Okay.
millimeter and the 37mm steel Royal Oaks reveal another layer of the allocation game, both sitting around $28,000 in retail, but commanding 39 to 40% premiums.
Look at this, the big premium, and the big premium is for the smaller watches, really.
These are what we call the relationship builders, the pieces AP boutiques use to establish customer history. But here's the twist. The smaller 37mm actually commands a slightly higher premium despite its lower retail price. Moving into the high difficulty tier, we see something curious. The steel chronograph and double balance wheel tell two very different stories. The chronograph requires a purchase history for a relatively modest 27% premium, while the technically superior double balance wheel commands 64% over retail, but actually is easier to obtain. This suggests that complexity and price point don't necessarily correlate with allocation difficulty. Now, where the AP market shows its stark segmentation and some surprising opportunities.
The future. The way you see it is said to depend on where you sit. At X-Chair, we think it also.
The 41mm pink gold Royal Oak represents an interesting case. Despite being modestly difficult to obtain, it commands a healthy 44% premium. This suggests that even with easier boutique access, genuine demand is driving the market. Just expressing interest might get you on the list, but that premium indicates strong secondary market appetite. Now, we hit the first real market warning sign, the Royal Oak Offshore in steel. A 20% discount despite moderate availability tells us the market is speaking clearly about this model. The variable by boutique note is particularly telling. When boutiques have different allocation policies for the same watch, it usually signals softening demand. Moving to regular availability, we see the full extent of the Colt 1159's market challenges. Both the automatic and chronograph versions are not only merely available, they're trading at significant discounts.
Huge discounts. Colt 1159, huge and bigly discounts. Huge and bigly. Look at that. Unbelievable. The Colt 1159 chronograph. Wow. The retail's $36,000. That's crazy. Why would I want to buy a Colt chronograph when I can get a Daytona? I mean, if you're going to go chronograph, you go Daytona. That's it. End of story. I mean, that's it. That's the only good. Well, I guess if you want, Omega, certain models.
26% and 29% respectively. When the chronograph from AP trades at nearly 30% below retail, while being available for immediate purchase, we're seeing a clear disconnect between positioning and market reality. Now, despite all the issues, AP continues to demonstrate remarkable strength in its core offerings while navigating the complexities of today's luxury watch market. The data reveals a nuanced picture of a prestigious watch brand managing different market segments with varying degrees of success. The brand shows particular strength in certain areas. Their varying allocation policies and price premiums suggest a brand actively managing its portfolio, learning from market feedback, and adjusting its approach. For a manufacturer of
This guy sounds like a consultant. I don't know if he's working at McKinsey or something, or is,
AP's caliber, these market demands represent not so much a crisis as an evolution, a process of finding the right balance between heritage, innovation, and commercial success in an increasingly discerning luxury watch market. See you in the next video.
I'm getting back on track with Factor.
This is garbage. Why am I getting these stupid commercials? Can you imagine somebody buys this food, it's like made in a factory. What do they ship it to you in a box? They make this food in a factory, they ship it to you in a box, and they eat this out of a plastic tray. Like, I mean, that's disgusting. It's black, which is weird. Like you're eating food off a black tray. I don't know, it's a little weird.
Never frozen meals. This saves us so much time when we're chasing around our toddler.
I can get all the nutrition I need without having to obsess over.
Okay, look at these bukiaks with this. I mean, this. They do this commercial with these. I guess they call them like people who look like normal people. They're not like actors. They're what do they call like real life people. It's like influencers or whatever.
I never run out of tasty, nutritious dinners thanks to Factor.
Factor is over 40.
You got the guy with the dirty Sanchez mustache. The dirty Sanchez mustache.
Different dinner options
like Protein Plus and Calorie Smart.
I never thought eating clean could be this easy and tasty.
If you eat this food, you're probably gonna die. That's what's gonna happen. Don't buy facts. Oh, we got. Speaking of bukiaks, okay. Okay, let's watch this.
Top 10 worst buys from your Rolex authorized dealer in 2025. And just to be clear, all the models that I'm going to mention can be bought on the grey market cheaper than buying from your Rolex authorized dealer in 2025. Coming in at number 10 is the GMT Master in yellow gold, the GR.
This guy only owns one shirt. Like literally every video, he's wearing that same shirt. I mean, things are tough in the watch market. It's hard out there.
Absolutely love this watch. What a watch this is. Retail price for Rolex is a whopping £37,900. You can pick this watch up on the grey market from a dealer like myself, brand new and unworn, for between 10 to 15% less than the Rolex retail price, so around £32,000 to £33,000. Absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous watch, but you will lose 10 to 15% if you buy it from Rolex Direct. Coming in number 9 is the Yachtmaster 40 Rose Gold Oyster Flex, an extremely popular watch. The retail price for Rolex is around the £28,000 to £29,000 in 2000.
This is, Watch Nicholas bought this. This is a dog with fleas. I mean, white gold, it's a dog with fleas. I mean, a rose gold, it's a dog, but my issue with these what I don't know, what do you even call that? The black rubber. It's just so ugly. It is so nasty and ugly. The black rubber. It just doesn't work.
You can pick that watch up between 10 to 15% less than Rolex retail price, around £24,000 to £25,000. And if you want a pre-owned one, or even a new unworn, just a couple of years older, so 2022 or 23, you can actually buy that watch in the low 20s, so early £21,000, which for me is an absolute no-brainer. Again, do not buy from Rolex. Go straight to the grey market. Following the trend of category 9 is number 8, and that is the Yachtmaster range on the Oyster Flex, but the yellow gold and white gold. They're 42mm in size, both very popular, but I've got to tell you from this side of the desk, the yellow gold is far more popular, and there's less of them on the grey market. But you guys...
I got this watch on the black rubber strap is... I think people are going to be disgusted with this. This is going to fall hard. This is really has very, very... like the ice is very thin under this because it's just such a, I mean, the rubber strap is so ugly and the design is just so like specific to a moment. It's going to be seen as a really tacky. Like this is going to be super tacky in a few years.
Looking for something like a Rolex Daytona Oyster Flex, you don't want to score that extra £10,000-15,000 for that watch. You can get a watch, in my opinion, that looks similar, a bit more under the radar, but still a really special watch. But they've got a whopping high retail price now. The yellow gold one's around the £28,000, and the white gold's just under £30,000. You can pick the white gold one up on the grey market for around 15 to 20% less than Rolex retail price, around the $24,000,
and dropping some more. Yeah, these prices are. I mean, yeah, this is
5,000 again. A couple of years older, early 20s. The yellow gold one's slightly different. I would say 10 to 15% less than Rolex retail price. It is more sought after. We see less of them, and we would sell that watch for around £24,000 to £25,000. So the trend still continues. You can still pick it up less than Rolex retail price on the grey market. Coming in at number 7 is the 18-carat rose gold 40mm Rubia. That is a full bracelet watch. The Rolex retail price is a huge £39,700, so just under the 40k mark. We very rarely get this watch requested, not because it's not a stunning watch, it actually is, just because the market trend's just not there. The full bracelet watches, we just do not get that watch requested from you guys. I think it's a gorgeous watch. I'll tell you what, actually, if you're wanting that watch and you're looking for a bargain, you can pick that up for around 15 to 20% less than Rolex retail price, just over the 30k mark. For me, that is a lot of watch for money, but when you come to sell it, dealers will unfortunately probably pass on it unless the price is right, where it's unpassable for a dealer to stock, because the market has certainly changed on that watch in 2025. Following on from the market trends of the watches that are just not as popular in today's market is, of course, the full gold Sky Dweller. They come in two combinations on the bracelet. You've got the yellow gold and rose gold.
What's with these tattoos, man? This guy's got, I mean, like, what the, I mean, I don't know. The tattoo thing is just terrible. It's like, what the, was this guy in prison or something? Was he in a gang? Was he, I don't know. I don't understand it. This guy.
I've actually got one to show you here. We cannot say this watch is not stunning, because it actually is. Gorgeous, gorgeous looking watch. This is the 18 karat rose gold. It's got the beautiful rhodium dial. I know you guys out there look at this watch and think, well, the chocolate's the higher.
Yeah, the rose gold and the gray is a good look. I don't know. The gray may not, may not have staying power in terms of it. It looks cool, but I don't know if it'll still look good 5 years from now. But for now, it looks pretty good. No, the only thing with these Sky Dwellers is just too big. I mean, they're disproportional. The case is, it's not even big. It's just disproportional. It's like very tall. It just doesn't work. Hopefully Rolex uses the Bucher movements to make thinner watches.
And tier dial, the more premium it goes for a bit more money, but in my opinion, this is the better dial in this particular combination. The Rolex retail price on this watch in 2025 is just over £50,000. This is a 2022 model, the older reference, the 3.2. We're selling this watch for £38,000. So that tells you where the market is. And if you want to pick up a new one on the grey market, they're around 10% less than the Rolex retail price. But again, the appetite is just not there. Unfortunately for the yellow gold, it's slightly less. There's more of a price premium. If you were looking to actually sell that watch, you would actually lose more money. So unfortunately for this particular watch,
look at that. Interesting, right? Like AP, the gold models have demand, whereas in Rolex, they don't. What does that tell you? I don't know what that tells you. It's weird.
The rose gold is the best, but if you go to any authorized dealer, you go out there, you go in your local town, you go abroad, you go look in the window, there won't be an exhibition only sign next to this watch. It'll be for sale sign, because nobody's picking this watch up from an authorized dealer in 2025.
New Lux Cravings boxes from Taco Bell. For $5, go classic. For $7, go.
Coming in at number 5 is the 36mm Explorer steel and yellow gold. It's got a huge retail price from Rolex now, just over £11,000. And I've got to tell you guys, who is the buyer of that watch? Because I don't know. I've never been requested it. I've never seen a client wearing one in all the years I've been in business. It's such an obscure watch from Rolex. Sorry for you guys that actually have it and don't enjoy it. I'm talking generalized market. It's such a strange one from Rolex. Explorer client is a plain client. It's a very, very subtle, subdued,
Yeah, it's weird. But again, the Explorer watch in general, the Explorer is just a disgusting watch, but this makes it even worse.
Under the radar model, and it goes against the grain. It's got the gold, it's got the steel, it's a bit more flash, and it's just wrong for that model. I just don't know who the buyer is. So unfortunately for me, like I said, price-wise on that, you can actually pick that up on the grey market for
I have a feeling like in 10 years from now, it'll be kind of interesting.
Around £9,000, 25% under Rolex retail price on the grey market, and that would be my advice if you wanted that watch in 2025. Coming in at number 4 is the Submariner range in the full gold. Of course, it comes in two combinations. So we've got the full yellow gold, the full white gold. The nickname for the white gold is called the Blue.
Oh, that's right. And Juan Inquino bought that exact watch. That's right. Juan Inquino, the hubcap thief from La Isla de la Cucaracha, he bought that the one with the blue bezel, and he paid, how much did he pay? He paid 40-something thousand, right? He thought he was taking advantage of a desperate seller. He was trying to take advantage, exploit a desperate kid trying to sell the watch that he got over leveraged on his parents' credit card. And Juan was exploiting this young man, and now Juan is stuck with a watch that's worth less than $30,000 and dropping.
For you guys over the US, it's called the Cookie Monster. And for the yellow gold, it's called the Bluesy. The retail price on both these watches, believe it or not, the white gold is just over £40,000 and the yellow gold is £38,000. I actually didn't think it was that high. It was only when I looked the other day, when I was getting prepared. I could not believe it's over £38,000. To give you guys an idea, the white gold one, you can pick up on the grey market for 25 to 30% less than Rolex retail price. That is a 1,000,000% no-brainer. That is an absolute red flag from your Rolex AD. The yellow gold again, that is still 20% under retail. So both of these watches you can pick up brand new.
There you go. You know, Juan and Kino should have been watching this video, but you know, they're stuck. They got stuck. Unbelievable, but true.
Unworn for around 29 to 32,000 pounds from the grey market on the day. Coming in number 3 is the white gold continuation on the full bracelet. Not the Submariner range, it is the GMT Master range. It is, of course, the GMT Master 2 Pepsi. Has the beautiful blue dial, actually, and the red and blue bezel. The Rolex retail price is just under £40,000. You know, that is a lot of money for that particular watch. When you compare it to the grey market, you can pick that watch up for early 30s for the very latest new unworn examples. Again, looking at 20+% under Rolex retail price on the grey market. And I've got to tell you guys, we never ever get requested that watch. Meteorite dial, yeah, absolutely. Plain dial, no. The market is just not there for that watch because most clients who want the Pepsi, they'll just go for the steel. They can get it under £20,000 and you can get either the Oyster Gold. This is 43mm. It's got a bit of a deeper case. I really, really like this watch. And I've said for years, I think it's a sleeper. I think people out there, due to the size, due to it being steel and yellow gold, you know, £17,000 from Rolex is a lot of money for this watch, considering we've got some in stock here and you can pick it up brand new, unworn, from collection. They come on 3 combinations. You've got the rose, white, and yellow gold.
Oh, yeah, no, the black rubber is. Yeah.
It's around 20 and up to the yellow 30. And if you go to pre-owned or even like a couple of years old, new and unworn, it's even more than that, low to mid 20s. So what does that tell you about the watch? Considering the retail from Rolex is late 30s to £40,000 for that watch. It is an absolute no-no. Do not buy that watch from Rolex from your authorized deal, because I'll tell you what it is.
It's unbelievable, but true. All right, gentlemen, that wraps it up. We just wanted to give you a quick market update. We'll see you on the next one.